European was getting on his last goddamn nerve in a restaurant that the brother was working at. All you potato chip lovers. Potato chip is a major industry right now. A brother, he was serving this. You want to tell the story? You want me to tell it? You can tell it. His brother was working in a restaurant, and he was trying to serve this European patron who, you know how they do. I guess he was trying to be a butt or trying to be specific. He kept complaining and sending the French fries back. They're too mushy. They're too soft. They're too thick and too whatever. And he kept sending them out there. So finally, the brother got pissed. Said, "Okay, you know what? I got news for the cracker." He cut the chips super thin, super wide, because the two kept saying they were too mushy. Fried them to a crisp, and then put extra sauce on them so he had got pissed off with the cat. And I forget they had a name for this chip. They had a special name for this chip. And it became a major hit, and that was the chip that the customer was like, "Well, I love these." And now everybody's in the potato chips now, thanks to his brother Clump, who was just being a wise ass because the dude was getting on his nerves. Funny.
Okay, the next one is Philip Emeagwali. Philip Emeagwali created the world's fastest computer. And he's from Nigeria. He dropped out of school at the age of 14 because his dad didn't have enough money for him to go to school. So his father decided to teach him himself, and he would give him math problems, mental exercises, and in 1 hour he finished 100 math problems. And at this time they had like a war going on. The war going on.
His brother is not a so-called African American. He was from Africa, unlike everybody else we're quoting you that are from here. Go ahead, sis.
Yeah, and so he studied honeybees. But he lived in a house where they were like bombs going off over him, and he told himself, "I'm gonna study real hard so I can work my way out of here." So at the age of 17, he got a scholarship to come to Oregon State University, and he studied bees and their honeycombs, and he set up his computer on the shape of the honeybees and the way they related to them, and so he came up with the world's fastest computer, and he used 65,000 processors and to perform computations at 3.1 billion calculations per second. And today, his computers are used to forecast the weather and predict global warming.
Yeah, people need to know about all of this. Now, he's not a so-called United States of America, African-American, Negro, black colored, as they would call it, but he is so-called dark complexion. So he wanted to mention because a lot of what he did was after he left from over there and came to over here. But, you know, he would be a cousin or something, not necessarily United States. Because remember, the reason we're doing this show is because of the way everybody comes here from the Europe, Asia, even the East and Africa, looking down their nose and neck at so-called United States Negroes, as they would call us. But go ahead. Also, people that are on these pristine lawns, and you got your beautiful pristine lawn and your lily neighborhood, whatever, all of the lawnmower was perfected with the rotary blade, or the turning rotary blade by a brother. The sprinkling system where you can turn on your sprinklers and go off about your business and let the sprinklers water your lawn, you can thank a brother for that too. That's important.
And the automatic gear shift. The automatic gear shift.
Oh, yeah, the automatic gear shift on the car. Even the manual stick gear shift. You know, again, I'm done hearing it. I don't want to hear it. And I'm not saying it's about sitting up arguing with the people. Let them sit out there and look stupid, talking about what we didn't do and what all they invented. Because every time they come and say, well, the white man invented the computer and the cell phone, you can just go, you need to do some. I'm on the phone, hello. You can just say, you know, you need to do some due diligence. Or just, well, he's ignorant. Show you how stupid he is. Go ahead, sis.
Okay. Okay, then we have Dr. Shirley Jackson with her telecommunications inventions. She had developments in the portable fax machine, the touch-tone telephone, the solar cell, the fiber optic cables. Those are the cables like you want to talk overseas. It gives you clearer reception. And she helped make caller ID and call waiting possible.
Important, right? And that's for people that are like, well, the men did everything. What the heck did women do? You done rolled off a couple of women that have done important things that people need every day. Like I said,
Shirley
I
Jackson.
that surgery. Go ahead.
Okay, this is a fun one. I'm not Dr., but Lonnie G. Johnson. He is the inventor of the Super Soaker. He has 40 patents, and in 1989, he worked for NASA, and in 1989, he was working on an experiment with a heat pump, and he was using water instead of Freon, and so the water squirted across the room, and thereby giving birth to the Super Soaker. So he's a NASA scientist, and he's alive today. Oh, and he has a business called Johnson Research and Development.
Okay, Mark, some of the things. Go ahead.
Mark Dean, computer scientist. He got his degree in electrical engineering. He worked for IBM, and he was instrumental in the invention of the personal computer. I said that one already, didn't I? I did. I started out with that. So that's it.
No, that ain't it. That's not it.
No, it's some more, but what did I got today?
Those are the ones. Go ahead.
Those are the ones that I have the exact names matched up with them, because I don't want to say nothing that I don't have the research to back me up. So I'll just stop there. I got some more things that I'm on, but I don't want to just keep rattling on. And then somebody said, oh, we didn't do that. Because I think I read that we came up with the internet too, but I can't figure out who did that.
Yeah, I've heard that too. See, I'm the one like this. I can tell you what I know. You're bringing nothing specifics. I'm more of a big picture kind of sister. I'm going to give you what I know, and it's your responsibility as a listener of mine to do your due diligence to verify the truth or inaccuracy of what it is that I am stating to you. I don't have to get into all specifics. I'm more of a right-brain being. Right-brain beings are big-picture beings. I don't nitpick all the little details, and anybody want to argue little details with me and the trivia about a thing. I'm not trivial. I'm not going to do trivia. So my thing is, if you want trivia, you go find it, okay? Now, that's just real talk. At the end of the day, there's so much that our people have done. Just like, for example, people that have eczema and things like that, or people that are using the so-called steroids. Well, there was a brother that helped perfect the whole cortisone, that came up with the synthesizing of cortisone, Percy Julian, and I'm not going to be able to quote you everybody's name. I ain't the one, that's Nzinga over there that got the name for you. That ain't me. But Percy Julian synthesized cortisone, okay? And he started out just like the sister, Bath, trying to see what he could do about glaucoma, okay? And a lot of what he did is used today for rheumatoid arthritis. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of you run around here in pain and aching everywhere. They can thank Percy Julian for that. He also came up with the foam. Can you chill out? He also came up with the foam to extinguish oil and gas fires. You know what I'm saying? People don't go running around with water trying to put out an oil fire. You want to create a problem. You start spraying water on an oil fire or a grease fire. He came up with the foam fire extinguisher for the chemicals that go in there for that. And that's important. You understand what I'm saying? So, I mean, there's so much more that our people have done. People have to remember, our people have been inventing things since practically forever. What do you call it? Necessity is the mother of invention, and our people needed these inventions. For example, Melanin rich people got sick and tired of so-called white folks walking in on them all the time, unannounced, without knocking and everything, because, they had no home training. They think, oh, I can do this because I'm white. No, you're doing that because you have no home training. That's what you call ill-mannered, lack of decorum to just walk in somebody's house without knocking first. So niggas came up with the lock. They got sick of that. You know what I'm saying? This is the kind of stuff our people have to do to make life easier for us. Every time people unfold an ironing board, they can thank a nigga for that one, okay? The super came up with the ironing board. Yes, it's old technology, but it's technology that's being used every day. So, people that like to do auditoriums, and they go to an auditorium, and they need to unfold the chairs and set up the table. You can take the folding chairs and folding table. Niggas came up with the folding chair and folding table. I'm just saying. Otherwise, I'm doing the show because I've had about all to take. People talk about what we haven't done. There are things that you use every single day. Now, the light bulb, no, we didn't invent the light bulb, but you had a brother that perfected the filament in the light bulb and made the light bulb last long enough to be worth paying for. Yeah. What was his name? I don't even know what his name is off the top of my head.
Garrett. Was that Garrett? Garrett Wood?
I don't think it was Garrett that came up with the filament.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I got it in my notes, but...
anyway, the brother that came up with the filament for the light bulb, that was a brother that perfected that filament because the light bulbs they were using were just falling apart all the time. They kept blowing out, blowing out, blowing out. Remember, our people have been inventing practically from day one. But the United States, with their crayon-colored so-called white, so-called black divide and conquer agenda, didn't even allow our people to start copywriting or patenting anything until around 1870. Before that, we can invent all day long, but we didn't get credit. The master would get credit. Just like today, if you have a job working for a corporation and you invent something, a lot of times the corporation gets the credit, the patent, and all the money for your invention. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that has gone on for a while. Now, if it came out that you were melanin rich or so-called slaves that invented something, and it was known that the master was trying to take your credit, neither one of you could patent. Okay? But usually, they wouldn't go in there, oh, yeah, my nigga created this, and I'm the white, and I'm going to get the credit for it. It's like, they run around from then to now, the cut and paste master asses, always stealing a lot of what we create and put out, and getting all the credit for it, even down to, what's her name? The sister that came up with the Terminator and the Matrix. I mean, those are just movies, but still, it's a prime example of what happens to melanin-rich people all the time. Always creating. Came here to create. That's one of the things we do call and do best, is people leave us alone long enough. But we create stuff, and other people get so-called white on you and get to stealing your stuff, and then can't really follow up because they didn't do it in the first place, and as a result, a lot of things don't go any further than where they get. That's all I'm trying to say. What were you trying to say, those sis?
A lot of times we don't have the finances to fund a lot of the ideas that we get, And so I like to say, I know when I first started, when I had my first two children, I went to, back then they had the 5 and 10 cent store, and I went and got these little combs, and I would glue seashells and other little stuff on them, and I would stand out. I was in Atlanta, Georgia, and I would stand out in front of, like, Kroger or whatever and catch the sisters as they was coming out. You had one baby on my back, one in the stroller, and I was just pushing my wares, and so that led to something else, I learned how to make incense. So I'm just saying, even though you might feel like you can't, well, not you personally, but one might feel like they can't produce anything or work their way out of a situation, but if you just start small, the most important thing is consistency. Because the first time you make something, you might look at it and say, oh, man, I don't even like that. Now, by the time you make it 5 times, you're going to get the